Kenny, I didn't know that you were, the Raiders insider man on the running back position. I didn't know that you were personally texting Josh Jacobs. I love the Twitter. I love the Twitter thing. That was so cool. But I mean, honestly, everything that you were saying, everything that he was responding to, I 100% agreed with. I was like, this guy has been, in my opinion, like at least top 5 running back in the NFL. This guy is so underrated. And what did he do last year or 2 years ago and into last year as well? Is he was sitting there with Hunter Renfrow working on routes, trying to get better as a pass catcher, trying to get better as a route runner as well. And I thought he absolutely put in that work, and it showed on the field for sure. So I thought for sure this was the one guy. It was Josh Jacobs and Darren Waller and Derek Carr. Who's going to stay? I was one of those people who was saying Josh Jacobs for sure is staying. Like, there's no way they're going to let this guy go. And now it seems like they might. So, I mean, in your eyes, where do the Raiders and Josh Jacobs go from here? Like, what's the next step? Is there going to be a deal done, or do you really think that the Raiders are, as well as the NFL, it seems like, are not going to pay this running back?
So it's hard because you have, the running back position, which is severely underpaid. You have the franchise tag price has gone down significantly over the years. And you're seeing these running backs getting visibly frustrated. You have, Austin Eckler organizing a Zoom call. You have Josh Jacobs, who's, not holding out, but he's not showing up to camp. He hasn't signed his franchise tag, which I think also is a tactic because, remember, if you don't sign the tag, you don't get fined. So if he's not going to camp, he's not getting fined for it. Do I think Josh is going to be there week 1? Absolutely. I don't think Josh is going to leave $10 million on the table. You have Saquon Barkley, who reworks a deal and gets a 1-year deal.
He got $1 million more.
Yeah. How does that now, speak for Josh? Josh is like, well, look, Saquon got this. I want at least this. Mm-hmm. So I would say that, is he going to get paid? I think so, but it's going to be next year, obviously. Hopefully he gets a little bit more on his deal this year like Saquon did. But I think there's going to be one of those situations where, this is going to be a first for Josh McDaniels because he's going to have to pay a running back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think it's unfortunate. I mean, he was the number 1 running back last season. Saquon Barkley had a bounce back season. I mean, the market for running backs, it's really weird why teams won't pay him. And I get it. Shelf lives for him are like, 6, 7, 8 years or something, really low numbers because they're blocking, they're running, they're catching the ball out of the backfield. They're doing a lot of different things. But I mean, there's a reason why they're an intricate part of an offense. If you got a good run game going, then the play action is working, or, you have a lethal back that's very versatile to do whatnot, which is what we're talking about. Josh Jacobs was. Yeah. I think it's just weird though, that every team, it seems like, is boycotting running backs. It seems like I don't get it. This is weird because like Joe Mixon had this issue. Saquon Barkley has this issue. I saw a graphic on Instagram today, which it was Bijan Robinson, who just got drafted, is the highest paying running back, and he hasn't even touched a professional football snap. So
he is this year, but after that, the contract rate his numbers go down. So I think he's like 13 million this year, but then next year I believe it's 400,000. So it's one of those skewed graphics. But yeah, I mean it's ridiculous. You have these guys that are doing it all and they're not being rewarded for it. And I think that's the frustrating part. I mean, I talked about on my pod with Deebo Samuel where, he was like, well, if you're going to keep running me, this much, I need more money. Yeah. And so, it's frustrating.
Yeah. Do you think the running back position is the most disrespected in all of football? I mean, your dad played running back for the Raiders. Yeah. I mean, won 2 Super Bowls with them. So I got to feel like this is a little closer to home for you.
Running backs and the offensive guards, really. They don't pay guards that top dollar, and guard is a very, very tough position. Everybody puts the emphasis on the tackle, but guard is tough. I played guard one game in college, and like the fact that you have to know what everybody else in the line is doing, and that you're basically, if you miss your gap, your quarterback is done. So, I would say offensive guard too, but running backs are definitely disrespected as far as what they're paid and how much they're used.
It's also funny that those kind of are tied together in a way. Like, running backs rely on the guards, and it's just funny how those are like some of the most like disrespected positions in the NFL right now. It's wild to me. I also do think that I would actually kind of throw in safeties. Like, a lot of people forget about safeties. We always talk about the corners. We always talk about, like we said, Nate Hobbs or whatever, but like Trayvon Merrick, he's the guy who I think could potentially have a good year. But, we talk about the corners more. We talk about, whose fault it is at some point. We always blame the safeties towards the end on a deep ball, but we never blame the corners on those. We always blame the corner, if he just gets beat on a short route or whatever.
Smith.
So. Yeah.